alla. Numero 6, Jiri Langer Belgiasta, ja Langerhan oli siis tuossa hiihtäen. Ranska, numero 8, Kuka Puola, numero 9, Aleksanter Parasta.
Joo. Tähän tulee tässä.
Oh, sorry. Let me see.
Yes, 34. Kotsi.
Kyllä.
Two. Thank you. Sorry, you had to wait. 41, thank you. Tässä on tarpeeksi.
Ja 112. Joo.
112.
Kiitos.
Thank you.
Tähän tulee tää. Ja numero on 077.
077.
Okei, hyvä, kiitos.
367.
Ja 148.
148. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
You? Perfect. Yes, unfortunately.
Yes, kiitos. Ja 812.
Erinäisiä urheilijoita. Normaalimatkalla paras ruotalainen. Normaalissa 8 ja loadin perään 3 minuuttia. Kiitos kilpailusta. Numero 40 Lukas Hopper Italiasta. Oli karkki ensimmäinen tuossa Kiistan kisassa, mutta varmasti.
Welcome back to Kontiolahti, where you join us in East Finland's Karelia region on a national holiday here in Finland as they celebrate their Independence Day. The individual events continue today. Here's a look at the course here in Kontiolahti. 3 lots of the 3.3 kilometre laps, 2 visits to the range, and 3 times up the wall. Short, but just as tough as any of the longer races. Anders Stronsheim took the first men's individual victory of the season. He pulls on the yellow bib for today's men's 10 kilometre sprint. A look at the conditions, -3 the air temperature. And alongside myself, Ellen Ellard, is Chad Salmela, former Team USA biathlete. Chad, we are back in Kontiolahti. The stands are packed out. We just saw a look at the course and, of course, a look at the weather conditions as well. What do you make of them out there today?
We've had just about everything. We've had snow to start the week. Now we've had warm conditions. Now a nice, comfortable but freezing temperature will make the course nice and hard, very quick. What I like about the conditions right now is that they're very fair. It's nighttime. You're not going to see major wind or shouldn't see wind changes, and you're definitely not going to see a lot of change in the course.
So the men today starting at 30-second intervals for this 10 kilometre sprint. We are expecting 106 athletes taking to the course today. And Chad, what are you looking out for there today based off sort of the shorter individual, particularly on Tuesday?
Well, you're always looking to the recent past to try to figure out who your best bets are on the competition. And you have to go back to the individual and go no further than looking at the ski speed. And when you look at the ski speed, and the course time together. Ski speed is just the measure of the time on the actual skiing part of it, and the course time is adding all the other elements of coming in and coming out of the range. And in both those statistics, Johannes Tingnes-Bø and Sebastian Samuelsson are reigning supreme. They're over 25 seconds in both of those categories over the rest of the field. So what does that mean? That means Samuelsson and Johannes Tingnes-Bø are the best bets for winning today, as long as they go clean. But they can also miss a shot compared to everybody else being clean, because we know that a penalty loop in a sprint takes about 22 to 24 seconds, and when they've got 25 seconds plus on the rest of the field over 15K, over 10, it's going to be about the same. It's going to be about 20, 25 seconds. So about a penalty loop handicap those two have in a ski time. So if they're in 8 to 9 range where everybody else is in 10 range, there's still factors to win.
Yep, the penalty loop is back. We're just flicking through the start list up on the screen. You saw the red vest next to Talia Bo, the 36-year-old, of course, winning this discipline last year. His second sprint title, the last coming in the 2010-2011 season. And, of course, pulling on the yellow bib today on the Stromsheim. It was Johannes Tingnes-Bø who took second, and Laglide taking third in an all-Norwegian podium in the short individual.
It was a great performance by Team Norway. You kind of expect that, but there are a lot of athletes who look good on the course as well. Emilien Jacquelin skied very well, and if he can just keep his shooting in control, he can definitely be a threat today. Jesper Nelin had a very good ski time, or course time, for Sweden, but he combines very fast shooting with relatively good skiing. Nelin much better on the course time statistic than just the pure skiing, but that shows you Nelin could figure into it if he goes perfectly.
There's Jake Brown of the USA, a best finish of 12th in the sprint in Pokluka back in the 2020-21 season. No top 10 finishes. Did have his last top 20 finish, that was in the pursuit here in 22-23.
Just going back to some of the surprises that we saw in the individual, we saw Vitaly Manzin really hit a high water mark for himself, put the Ukraine team on the map. It'll be fun to watch him and see how he bounces from that individual to this competition. It's going to be a tough one because the competitions are so different. This one really putting a premium on, as I said, ski speed, but not only ski speed, but shooting speed and accuracy, just taking a little bit more of a chance. And for a 21-year-old Manzin, it's going to be a tough task to try to live up to what he just did 2 days' time, just 2 days ago.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we've particularly liked to see over the course of, well, the start to this 24-25 BMW IBU World Cup season is the youngsters really announcing themselves on the scene. Of course, Vitaly Manzin will be wearing that blue bib, best under 23. Previously best under 25, now dropping down to an under 23 bib.
Manzin will go bib 41, but our first starter is in the gates.
Yep, David Sobel ready to go. Spent the second half of last season on the IBU Cup. Four in the short individual. He came in 60th. He was third in the individual here back in 22-23.
That's right, Alan. Anytime you come in with David Sobel, he's starting bib number 1. Of course, he's got his only podium in World Cup competition on. It's a special thing, regardless of what happens today. So he's going to feel a little bit of confidence heading out on the course.
David Kormats of Austria next to go. Just missed 2 in the short individual. No career World Cup podiums, or even top 10s for that matter.
His best finish in World Cup competition is in the sprint category. He did that 2 seasons ago at Nove Mesto in the World Cup there. With the World Championships, of course, happened last year in Nove Mesto. That was the pre-Worlds.
Birkentals of Latvia next to go. Another athlete who struggled in the range in the short individual. And he won't be able to make the same mistakes again today.
These first 15 with the new start order, with the so-called red group going out in the about 2/3 way through the start order. These first 15 athletes who are showing good good points on the overall World Cup standings, but not really in the top 30. So you have a mix of athletes going out.
We do indeed. Here's Jan. Wearing bib number 4. Competed in the IBU Cup in Yggdrasil at the weekend, and there's plenty of athletes, Chad, who are making the jump over, who have started their season on the IBU Cup, missing out, of course, the relays, and they already have a taste of the sprints and the individual competition earlier than some of the other athletes. Is Jake Brown, who we mentioned earlier.
It's an interesting dynamic as you see Jake Brown heading out. These are all athletes who are, especially going back and forth between the IBU Cup, those athletes tend to be ones who can actually come into a World Cup and maybe surprise because they're maybe winning at the IBU Cup. It's kind of like being a hot hitter on the minor leagues in baseball in the United States and getting called up to the majors. And that's kind of what some of these athletes are getting the opportunity for in this first sprint of the World Cup season.
Thierry Longer of Belgium. He made his debut back in 2009, but was actually 9th in the short individual. His first ever top 10 finish, just missing once. Looking to take some momentum from that.
Yeah, when you're an athlete in a sport like biathlon where it's both physical and very mental, you try to find anything you can glom onto at this point. For Thierry Langer, coming off of his bet, even though he knows that it's going to require faster skiing and probably better shooting than he's used to do well in the sprint, it still gives you a little bit of a boost coming into this sprint competition.
Antonin Guiganot of France, one of the athletes who's made the jump over from the IBU Cup after competing there last weekend. 3rd and 10th in the 2 sprint races there.
Yeah, the great Martin Fourcade early in his career said Guiganot was of a talent level close to his own. He just was always calling for Guiganot to commit a little bit more to focusing on biathlon and being serious about it. And he's not quite reached that level that the great Martin Fourcade has, but still, that's a big vote of confidence from one of the best ever in the sport.
22-year-old Jan Gunke. 5 top 10 finishes and 2 podiums at Junior World Championships. Looking to translate that form in the IBU World Cup.
Also clocked his best ever World Cup finish in the sprint in the short individual 2 days ago, finishing 37th.
And the other time he finished 37th was in the sprint, this time last year in Östersund. Sander Mukin.
Mukin was the World University Games champion last year in 2 years ago in Lake Placid. The Kazakhstan team usually tends to go to those major international games and make it a big opportunity for their athletes to have some success, and Mukin did just that.
Strolia, Lithuania. Best finish in the World Cup was 4th. The sprint in Ruhpolding back in 21-22 season.
Yeah, I remember calling that race. It was by razor-thin margins that he missed his first podium, and you kind of thought that maybe he'd see if he does Australia do it again very soon afterwards, but he has not. It's been 2 seasons now and hasn't quite reached that level again.
Yeah, this is his preferred event, though. 4 flower ceremonies in his career, 2 of those in the sprint. As we go back to Guiganot, who's just come through the first checkpoint out on the course.
Again, 2 seconds back, pretty tightly. I kind of figured it would be pretty quick, pretty tightly packed at this first time check with the conditions that we see. Under freezing, refreezing snow, old snow. It tends to be very quick, so even with just 8 people through at the 1.6 kilometer mark, just 3.6 seconds separating first through 8th.
So a national holiday here in Finland. The stands are absolutely packed out, and it's the first of our Finnish contingent who take to the course and listen to the roar.
28 years old. You'd expect Tero Seppälä. He's got 2 fifth-place finishes in his career and so close to the podium several times, but still hasn't cracked that top 3 yet, and it would be great for him to do it on a national holiday here in front of home fans.
Yeah, hungry for a big performance. These Finnish fans who pack out the stands. Shemaev of Romania. 93% thrown accuracy last season. Just can't back it up with the ski times. Komat makes his way up the wall for the first time.
Oh wow, David Zobel's way up on Komat. 13.5 seconds. That's not insignificant. It's a big amount of time. So Zobel either out kind of quick or Komat's struggling a little bit to find the pace.
Great to see the fans packing up the side of the wall. Magaziv. Individual podiums. Struggled in the short individual. Pedrochny,
world champion in the pursuit from 2019. Hasn't really matched that since. He's only been on the podium once in his career, but he's looking pretty solid. 1.7 seconds back, even with Jake Brown from the United States sitting, both of them tied for 6th. But just, 1.7 seconds is negligible at this point in the race.
Our first athletes into the range for the first time. Sorbel.
There you see the wind. This is kind of the challenge of Kontiolahti. The changing winds, they can change and swirl. We saw that happening early in the relay competitions, but things kind of stabilized during the short individuals for both the men and the women. The shooting was relatively normal, but you got to watch that wind direction. And we're seeing that wind graphic that pops up that tells you when you see on the left side of your screen, the lower left hand side, you know that the wind is a factor. It's 8 kilometers an hour now, moving left to right. You got to watch the shots being blown from left to right. Let's watch. Zobel is out to the right. That would be consistent with the wind. A wind from left to right would move it to about 4 o'clock because of the spiraling of the bullet, 3 o'clock and down. But it's one miss for Zobel, all of them close to the right-hand side. So there are going to be some coaches radioing out to the course. Maybe take a few adjustments if they see the wind that strong.
So David Sobel off round the 150-metre penalty loop as David Komatz into the range.
It's kind of tough to be one of the first starters. It changes it all. You kind of, like I said in the last year, you're kind of the canary in the coal mine, checking this conditions for the rest of the field, and the sacrificial lamb there might have been the German Zobel. Nice cadence by Komatz. He's not by the wind at all. Clean, very solid.
Yep, great start from David Komatz. So he will now be setting the early pace as he makes his way out onto his second lap.
.5 seconds ahead of Zobel, who had the miss. So now coming to the range, the current leader, 3.9 seconds faster than Komatz. Xinyuan Yan. Still not seeing that wind graphic. I tend to see that when the wind is picking up. Producers of the picture very good at keeping all factors to performance on the pictures for us to watch. You see the leg of Jake Brown from the United States, who started 30 seconds behind Jan. Laid it down to shoot as well. There's the wind, right to left. It's switched.
And Jan goes clean. So setting the early pace out on the course and going clean with his first visit to the range.
Going to fall outside the time of Komatz. 8.4 seconds back.
Here's Thierry Longer. Backed up that performance in the short individual.
Important to note that that time in, that minus 13.4, that's on Komatz. Because Komatz is clean, so that time's about to get tougher, but Longer will go once to the penalty loop. Here's Anthony Viganano. 16.5 seconds ahead of Komatz. Coming in. But we're not seeing a lot of clean shooting from point number 1.
They missed 2 in the short individual. Just sneaking in.
That's dead center. Another center low. Right, just about a miss at 8 o'clock, but he hangs on, does Giganov for the clean shooting stage, and this should supplant Komatz.
Yeah, it certainly will do. 11.5 seconds, the advantage of the Frenchman now. Sapala down by 6.2. And here's Quentin Fielmayer.
Oh, he's 2.9 seconds down at 1.6K already. So not terribly fast start for Kontiolahti Fielmayer. He's only 13th at this point, so it sounded like he was breathing pretty hard there.
Yeah, having to work quite hard already through the early stages. 5th in the short individual, missing twice. Strolier.
Australia now against the time of Gigonat, as Gigonat leads after shooting 1. He's 11.5 seconds ahead of the Austrian Komats, but Australia about just under 2 seconds back, coming in to shoot. He's got about 30 seconds to get to that time check to take the lead now.
And he will be going off round the penalty loop.
See the wind graphic comes up. Every time you see that come up, you know it's a factor. Here's Dmitro Predruchinin now, 7.8 seconds off the time of Gigonat, so not skiing particularly well. There are still 4 clean shooters through the first stage right now. So Predruchinin, his hallmark really is stable shooting. There's a miss. The wind is changing. You see, the problem is not necessarily that the wind is strong, but if it changes direction, and it's circling, you almost don't know what to do. You almost just have to shoot through it as an athlete and hope for the best. It's a little bit of a gamble, but there's not much. You can't follow it shot for shot.
Seppala, first thrown shoot.
Seppala, this wind graphic on the wall, 8 kilometers an hour left to right. If he's zeroed for that, that's great. And it looks like he is because he's knocking them down. Means the wind was probably about like this when he shot on the paper target, and he goes clean and gives the home crowd something to get cheer about.
Yeah, the crowd love that. Seppala going clean. It's going to be tight on the time with Gigonat. Will he just sneak it? No. Out of shooting 1 in second, but just 0.7 behind.
Well, Ellen, if somebody should know the shooting conditions on this range, it is Seppala. He trains here probably the vast majority of his days over the course of the season, both on and off snow. They have a roller ski booth here. You see Shamayev of Romania come in. That wind graphic popping up now, but you can see the wind graphic, it's holding stable sometimes left to right. That seemed to be what Seppala was prepared for. And it's increasing in intensity. 10 kilometers an hour might cause them to need to move their sights. And when I say move their sights, they adjust from the peep sights on their rifle. They'll make slight adjustments about a bullet width on the target, and they can move up, down, left, and right. And you have to adjust for the wind pushing that trajectory out of the target range for prone.
Shamayev wants round the penalty loop.
Comes in 23.1 seconds back, and it's perfect so far, but often quite a bit back on the ski time. Already 9 seconds in arrears before leaving the shooting range. The shooting mat, I should say. Magazev going to slot in inside 30 seconds back, despite being clean. So
yeah, just outside the top 10.
Here's Vebjørn Sørum, the first of the Norwegian team. Comes in leading, or trailing by 0.5 seconds to Gigonat. Gigonat still the leader, 7/10 ahead of Seppala of Finland. And Sørum drops the last shot.
Yeah, missed.
To Hartvig.
Plus Hartvig, Sørum as third. First sprint of the season last year. Another miss for Hartvig.
So you look at the wind graphic when Hartvig missed. It's not exactly left to right. I'm getting the impression that when we were seeing left to right wind arrow at about somewhere between 5 and 7 kilometers an hour, and nobody seems to be reacting to that. That tells me they probably zeroed in similar conditions. But then when that arrow changes direction, that's where they get in trouble for misses.
Yeah, Seppala unable to match the pace of Gigonat out on the course. As Quentin Fielmayer around the corner and into the range for the first time.
clearly picked up after that first split at 1.6 kilometers where he was sitting down in 20th place now, has moved up to the lead at 2.7 kilometers. So just a matter of him probably getting the information saying, hey, pick it up now. You're down quite a ways at the first time check. So Fillon-Maillet leading by 8.2 seconds now, proving that he's got the fitness. And we're watching that wind direction. You see those flags are moving straight out to the left. See if he makes any adjustments. Fillon-Maillet should have looked at the wind flags coming in. He takes a look. You see him look. Makes no decision to change his sight correction. So there he goes. Clicks into the wind a little bit. Looked like he took 3 to 4 clicks into to the left to deal with that wind.
Well, the first hit dead center, miss on the second. Once again, central on the third, and
Wind
2 misses.
The wind was steady. It was 7 to 9 kilometers. So I think those are human error, or he maybe over-adjusted to the wind. But 2 misses for Quinton Fillon-Maillet. That's rough.
Yeah, after picking it up on the course coming into shooting 1, he'll be twice around the penalty loop.
There's Jakub Stratecki now from the Czech Republic. He was the leader at 1.6 kilometers, skiing fast in 4.8 seconds back into the shooting. But it's all about reading the wind right now and making sure you're hitting the center of the target. It is a challenge we're seeing as the wind starts to play with these athletes in the prone position. Stratecki goes to the penalty loop. Gigonat will maintain his lead for now.
That's David Sobel, who just come into shooting 2 and just out of it. He trails David Komats, Philip Horn. Next athlete we'll keep an eye on.
Horn comes in, minus 4.1. The new leader now, we missed it, was Andres Rastogujevs of Latvia bid 22. He shot clean and supplanted Gigonat by 1.4 seconds in the leader's position. So now chasing the Latvian athlete is Philip Horn of France, or of Germany, excuse me. Chasing the Frenchman Gigonat and Rastogujevs on the top of the leaderboard. He's got 40 seconds to get these shots down. As we see Gigonat come in, he was clean from the prone in the breakout. He's 2 for 2. Watching multiple things happen. Horn misses, so now the focus goes to Gigonat, who misses as well.
Well, a challenging day out on the range. And it's 2 misses for Philip Horn.
What we're really seeing is a change in the intensity of the wind. The direction is changing somewhat, but the intensity can change it too. Even the direction, even though you might have the right zero for the way you thought the wind flags, you have to look at how hard the wind flags. Those red flags to the right of your screen, they're 10 meters in front of the shooting point and then 10 meters in front of the targets. And you have to look at how both of those are doing. Sometimes they're telling different stories. One's moving right, one's moving left, but you have to read the how far they're being blown out. Very challenging. Tricky day on the range in Kontiolahti.
Michel Krishmar, who has come into the range level on 3rd. '18 Olympic silver medalist in this event.
Well, 0.6 seconds faster than Rastogujevs. Rastogujevs came into the range only in 13th position, but is leading after prone. That's the time we take off of it. And now, Krishmar with a chance to take the lead, probably going to be very tight. He's got 9 seconds to get to that time check.
Yeah, it's going to be very close indeed. But Krishmar has done the work in the range, shooting clean. He will be just outside the time of Rastogujevs, 2.2 seconds down.
Going to need a 0 from prone, and it has been, this range has been testing everybody. Rastogujevs, so in the maroon and white suit of Latvia, this is your leader. We missed his shooting, but he's leading now at the 4.9 kilometer mark, just by 9/10 of a second over Gigonat.
Not much in it at all. Jesper Nælin now into the range for his first shoot.
Emilien showing good form in the individual, skiing near the front of the field, not in the top 5, but right around, I think he was 11th fastest course time. So he's showing he's got the fitness to be there, but he sees wind blowing in the wind as well, or his bib blowing in the wind as well. There's a miss. So really tough shooting conditions as the very few athletes going clean from the pro. And here's one who was clean. If he can shoot through this wind, but look at the wind playing with his bib. That tells you just how tough it is to hold the rifle steady in this windy condition except for the miss.
There'll be 2 misses for Seppala, and you can hear the groans of the crowd behind. It's 3 misses, 4 misses. He has to recompose himself here. Looks to the sky, and it's 1 on target.
Oh, you got a feel for him. I mean, he came in and it was, you could see the wind was gusting just a little bit, but I think everybody's going to have to deal with this wind. This is going to be a factor in the race. It's all going to be about how savvy you are in reading the wind and how, particularly how well you can hold your rifle on the target in standing position.
Bionat, 13th in the sprint in Östersund last season. 1 miss.
Well, Ellen, what we're seeing here is you see 12 kilometers. That's a pretty strong wind left to right. So even though they might be reading the wind well, it also tightens you up. You know that you might not be exactly on target, so you have to be just that much more accurate with your trigger squeeze, because that wind might be taking you to the edge of the prone ring. And the difference between a miss and a hit shot could be normally what is a very good, a relatively good shot, but it's on the edge of the target and you miss.
Michel Klutzmar. And he's a 1/10 of a second ahead of Rastiguyev's.
Oh, it's so tight. 4.9 kilometers, clean shears. We missed Riekmüller of Germany. There's 9/10 of a second between first and third right now at the 4.9 kilometer mark.
Simon Eder.
If there's anybody who can navigate a windy shooting range, it's 41-year-old Simon Eder, who's been on the World Cup now for what seems like 3 decades. But Simon Eder comes in 6th. He's way back on the ski time, but right now it's all about hitting your shots, because the wind is clearly a story maker today in this competition.
Shot clean, a short individual. Finishing 13. 4 for 4. And Simon Eder, ever the professional in the range, leaves clean.
Ellen, it's a perfect opportunity for a man late in his career to have a good day in a sprint, because the shooting is such a big factor.
Sulam has dropped 2 now.
Miss from each position for Sulam. Let's see where he comes across the shooting point or the standing after shooting one. Right now it's Gigonat after shooting 2, leading with a penalty over Komats with clean shooting on the day.
Knuckle back now, 4 for 4. And he goes clean.
This could be a day for Falk as well, just like Eder. Not the fastest of his career, late in his career, 37 years of age, but still showing he's got so much experience, and this windy conditions in Kontiolahti is really going to pay off for guys like Falk and Eder.
Yeah, and he's into the lead. 5.2 seconds the advantage. He performed so well in the short individual, just missing out on the flower ceremony, coming in 7th, missing once. It's Fabien Claude now.
It's telling, Ellen, that after shooting one right now with 34 athletes through, the top 3 are all over 30 years of age. Jakob Falk, Rastiguyevs, and Gigonat, they're all veterans at the top of the leaderboard.
Yep, short individual, the days for the youngsters, and this is where the experienced heads are really shining. Fabien Claude dead down centre there, and there's the miss.
And it looks like he was on the left side of target, so that tells you that maybe he was overcompensating for the left to right wind, missing at 9 o'clock. So tough to know exactly what to do in these windy situations. Plus your heart is beating through your chest and you're trying to just take a good shot.
Well, here's the world champion in this event, Sola Holmla-Glide. 3rd in the short individual, he shot clean as well. Talia Bow out on the course.
Wearing the red bib of the winner of this competition series. He's the best sprint finisher of the year. He had 4 podiums, 1 victory in the sprint competition last year. It's hard to believe that at the end, near the end of his career, that he has the best year he's ever had in the sprint competition. It's sort of the young, spry athletes territory. Jomaye trying to do some damage control. Needs to go clean though. We'll have a total of 3 misses, and that is just, he's skiing well. Look at his time, comes in still with negative numbers. but he's got one more trip around the penalty lap. 70% not going to do it for the Frenchman today.
Yep, so costly with the likes of Talia Beau, Stronsheim making their way out onto the course now. Rastaguyevs.
Never won a World Cup. 3 times second. He's come in his career. 36 years of age. Rastaguyevs staring down a potential chance at a victory here with good, clean shooting. He's got a big gap of time to get to that time check. 38 seconds to get these down. There's a miss, though.
Yeah, one of the times he did take second place was back here in the sprints in the 2017-2018 season. How costly will that miss be?
Probably not going to be a win for the Latvian, but it's going to be a good performance nonetheless. 9 for 10 today is probably going to be okay if the wind keeps doing what it's doing.
So Guganov will be the third athlete over the line. 24 minutes 10.8. So that is the target. Thierry Longa coming in 43.1 seconds down on that time as the athletes start to flood across the line now.
Guganov will feel pretty good about that. It remains to be seen when the big names start rolling through how did he ski fast enough. He's at 9 for 10. You got to believe somebody's going to, even though the conditions are tough, these are the best athletes in the world. Somebody's going to figure this shooting range out today and go 10 for 10 and ski fast. Here's one who can. Jacquelin, one of the top 10 ski times in the short individual 2 days ago, and he comes in with 8.2 seconds in hand.
Yeah, this, fair to say, is his best event. 2 podiums last season, Ruud Holding and Cam Moore, to finish the season strong. 1 miss though.
Good center hits on those that went down, but the miss, probably just operator error. Looked at the range was pretty consistent when he shot. It still goes to the penalty loop nonetheless. And that's the other thing, is then when the rain settles down, as we see Kritsmark come in to shoot standing, he's clean prone, but just going back to Jacquelin, you start thinking about the wind a little bit, and it starts to rattle you, and you lose a little bit of your focus, even if the shooting conditions are good.
Yeah, Kritsmark losing a little bit of time now coming into shooting 2.
Nice consistent wind. Oh, missed there as well. I'm watching the end of the barrel. Doesn't look like a lot of movement down there, but another miss for Kritsmark. Has to get this shot. 80% on the day, 2 laps run. It's going to cost him about 50 to 55 seconds.
Johannes Kuhn now, his first visit to the range.
Now we're getting into the real skiers, Ellen. Kuhn is always fast on the skis. He's a very good prone shooter, always over 90% almost every season, but he drops to 60s and 70s over the course of his career from the standing position. So this is not the question. 14 kilometers an hour, it's a strong wind, but he shoots right through it and gets 5. Not going to probably take the lead from Falk, but going to be close.
Yeah, he will be outside that time. To tick down. He will do enough to put himself into second though. 2.7 seconds down.
Now Kuhn has to decide how much does he want to go for it. He knows the conditions are windy. He's statistically a very weak standing shooter. He has been his whole career. Stats for Kuhn, 71% last season, 67 and 68 the 2 years before that. So that's what he's got to deal with in his mind over the next lap.
Well, Eric Perot now. And for his first shoot.
Good time, 9.1 seconds ahead of Fox. 100% prone shooter so far this year. Has yet to miss a shot in the competition. And he's very confident despite these windy days, and he's clean.
Yeah, ended the season so well last season with a win in the 10-kilometer sprint in Soldier Hollow. Only missed once in the short individual. Flower ceremony for him coming through in 6th. And he is 1.6 seconds up and now tops the leaderboard coming out of shooting 1, Eric Perot.
But we have to consider Jakob Falk, who has really not been on the ski speed of a sprint competition. The shooting time's taking a little more time. Everybody knows this is going to be a tricky situation, and Falk is taking advantage of it.
Stella Humlegreid, third in the short individual, 3 sprint podiums last season, the world champion. His first shoot. 17.4 seconds to get started.
Looks relatively confident, shooting through whatever wind he's seeing, and there's a miss for him. He'll go to the penalty loop. That's a rare thing from the prone position for Sturlaholm Lagride. Will not take the lead at prone.
So the world champion will have to veer off to the left once round the 150-meter penalty loop. As we go over to another Norwegian and the one crossing the line, Bjørn Sørlem. It will come over 9.1 seconds ahead of Antonin Giganot.
Sørlem made up a lot of time in that last lap. He left the range in 6th place, 18.9 seconds back, comes to the finish line with 9 seconds the other direction. So a huge last lap for Sørlem. That might be a significant performance.
Johannes Dinger's bow we just saw a glimpse of here. There's Martin Ponsaloma. A disappointment in the short individual and a miss to kick things off here in the sprint.
So Ponsaloma will go to the penalty loop, but look at the leaderboard after shooting one, Ellen Ellard. Campbell Wright for the United States takes the lead by 2.3 seconds over Eric Perot. Ski pretty slow in the single individual, but looks like he's off to a fast flying start and clean shooting for the American.
Yeah, bursting out the blocks, Campbell Wright. Well, we know his ski speed has been something he's worked on. Went up a whole 1% last season.
Jakob Fock trying to hold it together. A spectacular performance for him so far. And there's the miss. He knew he needed to go clean. You see him react, take some time, refocuses on that last shot. 9 for 10, but I really don't believe 9 for 10 can do it for Fock. I don't think he's got the power in the legs and in the body to make that penalty up. He needed to be perfect.
Talia Bow now, wearing the red bib. Taking the discipline title last season. His first shoot. 2 for 2.
Calm range situation, just 4 kilometers per hour, still coming right to left from 9 o'clock. And very solid, just like the pro he is. Gets a nice respite in the intensity of the wind. At least the direction was the same. Intensity was a little bit lower, not gusting. And he makes the most of it. Can he take the lead from the young American Campbell Wright? I don't think he's going to do it.
No, it'll be really close. He'll slot in just behind, 2.1 seconds down on Campbell Wright. But so consistent in this event last season. And the Strolomsheim, that yellow bib.
So hard when you hear what's going on around you and you're starting a race like this, like Sørlem in the yellow bib. You know the range is playing a factor, and you're just hoping and praying that you get a reasonable wind condition to shoot under. Wind changing direction just a little bit for Sørlem now, but the intensity about what it was for his teammate Tardia Bo just about 30 seconds ago. 7 kilometers per hour, right to left. Pretty solid and consistent. I would call this about as good a condition as you can ask for prone right now.
Yeah, he hasn't missed a prone shot so far here in Kontiolahti. And that's a 100% record in prone. We'll live to see another day.
But he's going to be off the time of Campbell Wright. That tells you the kind of day that Campbell Wright is having so far. I haven't seen a picture of him yet, but he is the leader still after shooting one.
Stromsheim just outside the top 10, 13.2 seconds down, coming out of shooting one. Rastagujevs.
Rastagujevs to the line now, going to fall outside the time of the leader, Bjørn Sørlem.
Yeah, be fourth for Rastagujevs, 35.5 seconds down as we go on board with Dalis Chevdal, who's now dropped one.
Came in with a lead 5 seconds ahead, but that penalty loop will cost him he'll drop to about 20 seconds back once he gets to the time check. So the Norwegian's not really in control of this competition like we're used to, with the Stars and Stripes atop the leaderboard, then Tarja Bo, and then Eric Perot. That's the top 3 right now after shooting one.
Yep, and Tarja Bo will be outside the time of Campbell Wright. 5.7 seconds down. So Campbell Wright holding firm. Jacquelin now. His first shoot.
Comes in with 13.7 seconds. That's a huge ski time. If he can keep it clean, this is going to be a big lead for the Frenchman. And it's going to go perfectly for him. Very quickly, had good shooting conditions and made the most of it.
Yep, so Campbell Wright will be bumped from the top. Emilien Jacquelin, 16.8 seconds, his lead through shooting 1.
That's a big lead as we said. Danilo Riethmüller now 9 for 10. Having a great ski day is this German. Not going to take the lead, but this is a significant performance for a man who has been an IBU Cup staple for Germany over the last 3 years. Finally getting his chops on the World Cup, comes across the line in 4th.
Ahead of Kontiolahti. He bumps Kontiolahti down to 5th. Missing 3 today. Johannes Kuhn.
Oh, look at the leader just taking the lead after shooting 2. Just saw that. Vitaly Monson is 30 for 30 on the weekend, and he leads Didier Bionats, who also snuck through there with a penalty, by 0.4 of a second. Can Monson hang on as we watch now Johannes Kuhn come in from the standings position, but he has a big lead, 3.8 seconds over Falk coming in. And remember, Jakob Falk had a penalty.
So Johannes Kuhn of Germany. Second and final visit to the range. And starts with a miss.
That wind, not a big factor for taking the trajectory out standing, just blowing the position around, trying to hold it steady so you can see the target and take a decent shot. 2 misses for Kuhn. That's going to be lights out for him.
Yep, so it will be Vitaly Monson who will maintain top spot in shooting 2. Like I said, he's only 0.4 ahead of Didier Bionats. Sebastian Samuelsson now. 4 for 4. Can he go clean? He goes clean. His first visit.
Came in 1.4 seconds back, but remember, Jacquelin is 16 seconds ahead after shooting 1. That is huge. It's half a penalty. So Jacquelin and Samuelsson really skiing at another level.
Well, it's good recovery. Yeah, good recovery from Sebastian Samuelsson, who slots in second. 4.3 seconds behind after missing 6 in the short individual. Here's Eric Perrault.
Got a miss already. Came in with a 25-second lead. Still could lead with the lead at this point with the advantage he had coming in. Still got 42 seconds to get to that time check. He's got to go once around the loop.
He'll need to fly around the 150-meter loop. Here's Didier Bionats. Will go in at third. 11.9 seconds down on the Björn Sörlem.
Well, that just shows you how big of a last lap Sörm had. Sörm was 13th after shooting standing. He made up over 19 seconds on Bionats in the last lap.
And it's 2 misses for Johannes Tingesbø.
And that is a huge, huge issue for the man trying to chase down Ole Einar Bjørndal's 95 wins. He's still at 85, and looks like he might be stuck at 85 after 2 misses from prone. Campbell Wright now.
Yeah, here's our first look at Campbell Wright.
He knows, that tongue out knows. You can tell he knows this is a big situation for him. And he comes in with a lead of 8.3 seconds over Eric Perrault. Perrault with a miss on the day.
Campbell Wright 2 for 2. Hits 4 out of 4. Can he go clean? He can indeed.
Perfect.
Campbell Wright. Well, what a performance this is from the American youngster. He breaks the position so quickly. He is focused. Well, let's keep an eye on the time here. Keep an eye on the time here. Let's go back to Justus Strello, who had such a disastrous performance in the range in the short individual. But all the attention really on Campbell Wright. 34.3 seconds up.
It's a huge lead for Campbell Wright. Not a lot of room for him. Remember, the big stars like Johannes Tingesbø with 2 misses. Who can challenge Campbell Wright from behind?
Justus Strello coming out of shooting 1. He's 18.2 down. Clean though. Really struggled in that short individual. So uncharacteristic of the best shooter on the circuit last season.
And people who can challenge Campbell Wright. Emilien Jacquelin, Sebastian Samuelsson, Tarjei Bø have all yet to shoot standing. Perrault is done. He's got a miss on the day, and Campbell Wright has him on the ropes. Jakob Falk comes across the line in the meantime.
Yeah, 19 seconds down. Just couldn't hold that pace as he'd have wanted to.
Look back at the time checks now. before Campbell Wright hit the shooting stage. Wright trailing Emilien Jacquelin and Sebastian Samuelsson by 7 seconds and 13 seconds, respectively. Here now is Tarjei Bø. Here's one. He can win with a clean shooting here.
Yeah, but the red bib also in the red when it comes to his graphics along the bottom of your screen. He's down
There's a
in
miss.
terms of time, and there's a miss.
Campbell Wright dodges the first major assault on his lead. He's gonna surpass Tarjei Bø. So it comes down to men of huge stature in the sport. Sebastian Samuelsson and Emilien Jacquelin are the biggest threats to the Americans' first win in a Biathlon World Cup.
Well, here comes Fabien Claude, dropping down the order there. He'll come in 6th.
14.7 seconds back at 9.4K. Drops a little more time to the finish.
Yeah, struggling after that last time up the wall.
Now back to Johannes Tingnes Bø with 2 misses on the day already through the first shooting stage. He's going to be, here's Campbell Wright now, coming up to the time of Bionats.
Well, so easy to spot, isn't he, Campbell Wright, with the headband and the hair flying out the top. Campbell Wright, 29.5 seconds up of Stella Holmler-Glide.
And he's making time. He's lost 4 seconds on to Lagride there, but that's not a huge loss of time. Holding his pace pretty strong is Campbell Wright. We've known Campbell Wright to kind of come apart at the end of the competition. Now here is Endre Strömsheim though, not skiing very well. He's clean so far, and there's a miss. He will not contend for the win.
The door has been flung wide open for Campbell Wright, and it goes again. Strömsheim dropping 2 in his final visit for the range.
And that's before he's 22 seconds back, leaving the shooting point. So he was never really a factor, even had he gone clean there. But he's got 2 more laps around. The penalty will add almost a minute to him. There you see it after shooting 2. Campbell Wright, 27.8 seconds for Tarjei Bø.
Well, would you look at that? Tarjei Bø, the red bib, 27.8 seconds down on Campbell Wright. And, well, Chad, I'm sure we'll get into it. But you spoke to Campbell this week, and he said he wanted consistency. He said he wanted to perform well after last season, which was damaged by illness. Here's Johannes Dali-Shevdal. One
Trailing
miss.
Right by 23.9 seconds back. It's still too much. Even if he's clean here, it's going to be a lot of time to make up a Campbell Wright. And he's not clean. But Campbell Wright started the season last year with sickness, and that sickness really projected all the way out into the middle of the season. He finally had a good performances in the last World Cups of the season. But here is the challenge to Campbell Wright. If this goes down, Wright's in trouble, and he is in trouble. 42 seconds to get to that time check, and this is going to supplant the American.
Well, keep your eyes on the clock. It will be a lead for Jacquelin, but by how much? 23.9. Emilien Jacquelin's advantage over Campbell Wright. Here's Vitaly Manzin coming in at 4th. 14.1 seconds down. So you have to say another good day for the Ukrainian.
Really good, really. 14 seconds is not a bad ski time with clean shooting. Here's Jacquelin now.
Jacquelin bump him down the order. It will be close, and he does. Manzin now 5th. Tommaso Jacquelin just ahead, a 1/10 of a second in it. And really,
1/10 of a second. That's amazing. It shows you how tight you have to be on these sprints.
And particularly for our blue bib holders as well.
So now Campbell Wright trying to hang on to the final 1.5 to the finish. Here is another chance, but he's just too much time to make up is Philip Navrath. He could challenge Wright for second, though. Remember, Jacquelin leaves shooting 2 with a 23-second advantage, so that's really who Navrath is fighting for a podium spot against Campbell Wright if he stays clean here.
And he does go clean.
Will be tight with Campbell Wright. Won't take the lead.
And I don't think he'll take second either at this point. No, he will be outside the time of Campbell Wright. And there'll be a fair little margin in it. 30.8 down on Emilien Jacquelin.
6.9 seconds behind Campbell Wright. So Wright's still got a fight out there. Here's Sebastian Samuelsson, another threat to that time. To the lead, actually. He's got 17 seconds. He's a little down to Jacquelin, but that miss is going to dash his hopes. just not composed. Look how hard he's breathing. Coming in maybe just a little too on fire ski-wise, and challenged by his, not so much by the wind as much as probably how hard he's pushing himself.
Yeah, you could see how much his chest was moving. Stronsheim and Jacquelin now synchronized as they push through the check mark, and it's a 25.8 advantage for Jacquelin.
Stronsheim down in 40th place. Having a tough day after his win 2 days ago. Eric Perot comes across the line into third spot, 9.2 seconds, was leading much of the race. Dropped one shot on the day in the standing position. First shot missed for him on the season. And here's Campbell right now.
And you can see how much it's hurting him. He's really digging deep. He's gritting his teeth, the grimace across his face. But surely he has done enough for a first podium. He has to drive all the way to the line. 50 meters to go around the corner. He's got to keep pushing. You can see how tired he is.
Savor the moment. He's catching Sturla home Lagride. This is the first time in his life that he's ever done that. Challenging Lagride. He started 30 seconds back. Lagride is going, what happened to this guy?
That's the world champion. He's going round the side of Campbell Wright across the line. 29.5 seconds. Keep that in your mind. Campbell Wright. Will it be a first podium today? He has given it absolutely everything.
Lagride loses the second spot by just 1 second to Vebjørn Sørum there in that sprint. It was a tight spot for second, tight race for second. Lagride drops. He was in second at the last time check, but falls behind Sørum, who finished so strong. So now it's Wright, Sørum, and Lagride, the top three. And Philip Navrath is just 1.9 seconds behind Campbell Wright at the 8.3 kilometer mark. For second place, he's in third. Jacquelin leading by 25 seconds over Campbell Wright.
Just Estrello, clean in the prone position. But he is 36 seconds down. And there's the miss.
Estrello struggling a little bit on the shooting range so far this season. He was the second best shooter of the statistical season last year. Starting this year with 3 misses from the prone position in the very first shooting stage, and he's gonna have to find some of that mojo he had last year.
Sjostad Christensen.
Trailing by 29 seconds coming in without a miss, so Christensen's clearly not in the fitness that he needs to be to contend for a sprint today. He's already going to go past, before he starts shooting, he's going to be past the time of the leader, Emilien Jacquelin. And a miss is not going to help. So 9 for 10 as Tarjei Bø comes to the line.
Yep, Tarjei Bø across the line in second. 9 out of 10, but 28 seconds down on Campbell Wright. Well, Campbell Wright, pinch yourself. Look how much Tarjei Bø has given. And still 28 seconds down on Campbell Wright. Wow.
And just 2.5 seconds from second to fourth between Tarjei Bø, Vebjørn Sørum, and Sturla Lagride. Sørum with two penalties in 29.5 seconds back. Sørum flew on that course.
Vitaly Mantin still just within the top 10. The blue bib holder, the under 23 competition, Jacquelin. Well, he hasn't really lost any time at all. Fraction since the last time check. 29.1 his lead. That's the hard work done. He's over the wall.
He's never won a sprint World Cup. I mean, Jacquelin, this will be his first sprint victory. Hard to believe.
That was the stat I was trying to hold on to, Chad. You picked me to it there.
Sorry. Put the cat out of the bag.
Jacquelin. Well, this would be such a big day, wouldn't it?
It would.
You know,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, just the start that the French had in the relay, coming so close to that historic feat of going 40 out of 40. They couldn't quite achieve it, and it was Jacquelin who dropped the 2 shots right at the end, and he said how much of a gag he felt in his heart. It was on his mind all the way round. And he'll come round the corner here. Keep your eyes on the time. This is the leader. Will it be a first ever victory in an IBU World Cup in a sprint race for Emilien Jacquelin? There's no one really who can match the time. Emilien Jacquelin for a first sprint win on the IBU World Cup. 29.1 seconds. He leads Campbell Wright by.
And now Philip Navrath has gotten the better of Campbell Wright at the time check in 9.4 kilometer. He is just he's tenths of seconds ahead of Campbell Wright. It's going to come down to tenths of seconds to the finish line. Six tenths of a second ahead of Wright is Navrath right now.
Well, it's so close. You can see how much Campbell Wright gave towards the end of the line. It will have to be the same for Navrath as well.
Waited a long time to see an American win a Biathlon World Cup. Campbell Wright almost does it today, but you can't shake a stick at the effort from Emilien Jacquelin. 9.1 seconds ahead at the finish line. Huge, resounding win for the Frenchman.
Dichenko. Here is Sebastian Samuelsson. Well, that one miss really costly because he's 21.6 seconds down. And could this be Campbell Wright off the podium?
It's looking like it. I hate to say it, but it's looking like Sebastian Samuelsson, despite the missed shot, is skiing fast enough, and he's got enough to put Campbell Wright potentially off the podium at the finish line.
Well, here's Navrath, the German, pushing towards the line. It's going to be close between him and Campbell Wright, but he will have done enough. Navrath into second. Now, can Campbell Wright cling on?
It's not looking great, to be honest with you. If you look at the time check from 9.4 kilometers, Sebastian Samuelsson has 7 seconds on Navrath, 8 seconds on Campbell Wright, and he's only getting faster. Not going to challenge the time of Jacquelin. That's the time, 10 seconds to get there. Jacquelin already across the line in 7 seconds. If you think about that, how much of a gap he's got on Samuelsson just in distance.
Yep, Samuelsson. Keep your eyes on the time. This will surely be second place for Sebastian Samuelsson. The Swedes in the crowd making all the noise as he comes towards the line. What a recovery after disappointment in the short individual. Second for Sebastian Samuelsson, and Campbell Wright off the podium. Johannes Tinges Bø now 53.9 seconds behind. Once again, not his day, but it won't even be enough to make the podium.
What's amazing is that GT Boo only has 2 missed shots on the day. That's not a huge amount. He's won with 2 penalties, and he's that far back. It's a bit surprising. I don't think his fitness is quite what we're used to seeing.
So the intermediate results, Jacquelin 18.9 seconds ahead of Sebastian Samuelsson, and no one will challenge the top 3 now.
A valiant effort by Campbell Wright to get his first podium of his career. He'll fall just a little bit short, but it'll keep him hungry.
It will indeed. Jacquelin, the look to his side as he pushes himself over the line. Johannes Tinges Bø now. Well, this will likely be a 4th place finish, just ahead of his older brother Tarja, and it will be 5th now.
Well, that will just about solidify Campbell Wright's opportunity to get into the mass start competition at the end of the weekend. The competition for the mass start determined off of the first 2 World Cup races here in Kontiolahti based on points. Top 15 will move on to that mass start, 30-person mass start order.
As Christensen, final time up the wall, 54 5.9 seconds down. So he'll slot in at this point between Johannes Tingersbo and Tarlia Bo.
Not a Norwegian in the top 4, but they're going to go 5 through 9, it looks like, on the final standings if this holds. 5 through 9 would be the order of the Norwegian team.
After domination in the short individual, the podium here in the sprint, and even though there was domination in the challenge, we still looked at it, and there was pressure around all the Norwegians.
Yeah, they're stretching well, but they shot so well. If you look at the results right now, that's not the Norwegian with clean shooting. Sørum with 2, Johannes Tingersbo with 2, and Christensen, Tarja Bo, and Lagered all 1 miss. You can't expect to win at this level if you don't have perfect shooting. And it was a challenging day. Still solid shooting, but not the kind that's going to dominate a World Cup. If you count 5th through 9th, not dominating.
Mutta sieltä sitten Christiansen loppusuoralle.
Well, here is Christiansen. And at 6. So in Venius. One to watch on the Finnish team, 30th. It's been a busy week for him. This will be a big improvement on his performance in the short individual. Heikkinen. Oh, the crowd loving that. And he goes clean with his prone shoot. The stands packed out today. Finnish Independence Day, public holiday. Plenty making the trip for a long weekend of biathlon. Heikkinen into 21st, coming out of shooting 1.
So far, only 11 clean shooters on the day at the finish line so far. Still a good quarter, about a quarter of the field still to come through. But it's a relatively low number of clean shootings in the sprint competition. It tells you, I mean, the shooting range told the story with the win so far today.
Yep, challenging conditions out there. Swirling winds in the range. Staladube going clean. Highlight as well, outside of the top 4, the next athlete to shoot clean is Vitali Manzin, currently in 14th. Canelo. This line 25th, lesson 2.
Canelo's skiing very well. One of the fastest ski times in the individual competition today. His course total time is top 10, 9th, 31 seconds back of Sebastian Samuelsson. But Samuelsson, the class of the field on the skis today, it looked like Emilien and Jacquelin, but with that one miss, 18 seconds back, it tells you Sebastian Samuelsson really flying on the skis. We saw that in the individual competition, but he had too many misses. 90% shooting combined with his ski speed today, gets him on second spot.
Yep. A third podium of the start of the season here in Kontiolahti for Sebastian Samuelsson, and a huge recovery from his performance in the short individual.
Just looking back at the times of how the races were performed, Campbell Wright was back in back in 72nd spot at the first time she hit 1.6 kilometers. Then he picked it up, came into the shooting range in 16th, 13 seconds out, and then from there stayed among the leaderboard all the way to the finish. But that is a really slow start.
Well, that's exactly why we only caught a glimpse of him towards the end, because it really didn't start. It wouldn't have triggered, you know, any of the checkpoints to go, right, we have to look for Campbell Wright, because he was so far behind, but really just pulled through. And there's the celebration from Emilien Jacquelin. He's been smashing the celebrations this week, hasn't he? That's been the focus. He's been the celebration king, as Jacquelin. And no Norwegians on the podium. Here's Logan Pletz of Canada, 1 miss. Just looking back as well, Chad, Sean Doherty shooting clean. So the Americans on it today in terms of their accuracy in the range, and really overcoming the challenging conditions. As in the bottom of your corner, you can see still the way that the red flags are moving.
Yeah, it was a challenging day. I mean, you had to be the complete biathlete today. You had to have good fitness, and you had to apply a lot of power to the snow. But most importantly, you had to really watch what was going on in the shooting range and adjust to it. You see Sean Doherty clean on the day, 26th. Campbell Wright clean on the day, 4th. Maxime Germain had 3 misses on the day, still 45th, showing he's got great fitness. So that American team really finding their groove today. But so the Frenchman, Anthony Guiganat, I got to give him a shout out. 2nd Frenchman on the day, 10th place, starting from bib 7. That's a really great performance by him, and kind of solidifies his spot on the French team, which is a very tough team to make.
Yeah, so close to shooting clean today. Him and Eric Perrault just dropping 1. Danieli Kapalali. So clean shoot today. Have the ski time to pair with that. 33rd he finishes on the Italian team after dropping down to the IBU Cup.
Johannes Delashevda also is a very strong skiing. It's just a little bit off the time that Johannes did his boot, but 70% shooting drops him to 23rd place. It just shows you how, even though you have that ski speed, you can't flex your muscle too much. If you upset the difficulty of the shooting range today by just being a little less focused on your intensity coming in, it really bites you in the end, and Delashevda paid for it today.
We can see plenty of our latest starters now coming through, shooting for the 2nd time.
Got bib number 102, making a little bit of a splash out there for Finland. Arttu Heikkinen sitting in 25th spot at the 4.9 kilometer mark, still coming to the 2nd of 2 shooting stages. Heikkinen, one of these, I think he's the 4th to last starter. So a little bit of excitement for the Finns to watch as the remainder of the field files through the final shooting stage.
Cesar Beauvais struggled with his standing accuracy last season, losing 9% in comparison to the season before. And there's the miss, and his first miss of his race, quickly followed by another. Back on track. And it'll be 3 times round the penalty loop for Beauvais.
Yeah, I was looking for about a top 60 finish. His personal best is the 51st. But those 3 misses are going to dash the hopes of a personal best for him today.
Yeah, that personal best actually in the short individual, able to carry that momentum through. Number 97, Dusanov. 1 miss on his record already. How heavily he's breathing as well, and well, that's well wide. Once again on 3, and miles wide on 4.
Yeah, just tough shooting conditions, and when you're maybe struggling on the skis to add to it, it's just it compounds these less experienced biathletes to hang on. Here's Arttu, who we were talking about from Finland. He's the best placed athlete currently still on the course. She's sitting in at the top 34 at 6 kilometers, so coming into shooting number 2, trying to maybe get a top 40. The top 40 score World Cup points, which add up over the course of the season. That is how you get ranked. But you get points based on how you finish. You get 90 points for first, 75 for second, 65 for third, and so on. It drops down to a single point for 40th. So Jacquelin, kind of for a developing athlete to get points is kind of a little bit of a feather in your cap.
We'll be looking to go clean as well. There's the miss. Huge cheer from the crowd behind, though, for every hit. And he'll be well supported round the penalty loop.
I was going to say he's kind of dabbling with that top 40 finish now. If he goes clean, going to be tight. See where he ends up as he goes around the penalty loop and he goes to the time check. If he can stay near that top 40 mark and maybe fight his way into the points, that would be a little bit of a victory for him today.
There's our first full look at the 150-metre penalty loop, which of course will be in use once again tomorrow as the women return to Kontiolahti.
Komatsin 33rd. You see that top 40 coming. 34th, Fiomaye, 35th, Ponsalomis, with some pretty good names there. Slotson right ahead of Hornig 36. So Jacquelin with points on the table.
Otto and Vinius, currently the highest placed Finn. 32nd. He's in at the minute.
Urheilija jo Okkala tulee siellä 84. Siinä myös sitten Slovakian Cesnik siellä 77. Ja
we could see 3 Finns in the top 40. Manta in 38th, Venius 32. Sanders Patrick.
I think it looks so good for Seppala after the clean prone, and then the 4 misses standing, just tough for him to try to come back from. He's way down at 62nd at current standing finish.
Yeah, really challenging end to the race for him. 2 misses, so 4 in total as well for the Latvian.
Final 2 competitors to the shooting range for the last time is Andrei Nedzakubinets of Poland coming in to shoot. Did a big 105. Right behind him 104, Robert Hevna in the blue and black for Estonia. And then the final starter, Edgars Mise.
Full 106 athletes crossing the start line. There's Misa clear through the prone shooting stage.
Of course, sort of looking for a top 60 here and all of a sudden done if you move clean here. Currently projected on the stats is finishing somewhere in the low 60s. Clean day for him. Got to feel good about that.
Yep, always such a challenge pulling on that last bib. Starting at either end of the spectrum in terms of numbers is, of course, such a challenge. You will have a very quiet course and range. And while that can be an advantage, it can also mess with your head slightly.
Yeah. Jacquelin came through the 8.3 kilometer mark, dropping 2 places down to 38th now, getting very close to that top 40 as we see Logan Pletz from Canada coming to the line, trying to take down the time of Tero Seppala in 62nd, and it'll probably fall outside that time.
Should be close to a best finish. Mostly on the IBU Cup last season, but did finish on the World Cup team for the races in North America at the end of the season, 67.
Palveri siis putoaa pykälän alaspäin. siellä on 76. Reina Amelis, siellä 89.
For Borgela. 1 out of 10 for him. He'll just be outside the top 50. .46 in the short individual. That was his personal best performance. His 5th World Cup start. 3rd in the Junior Cup last season. Bib 106 leading the way. Final lap for Gazmise. All outside the top 60. You
can kind of hear how hard his skis are kind of like scraping on that hard surface just from the like as I was saying, pretty even conditions, even though there's 106 athletes on this course, of course, holding it very well through the end of the race.
This is the penultimate event for the men here in Kontiolahti. We've spent a whole week just over here in Karelia region. And that's start to come on Sunday morning.
Here's Dr. Jacquelin now, bib 102, trying to get into those points, and he's just falling outside and off the pace of that 40th spot. He's currently in 43rd. At the last time check, with 600 meters to go, and he's going to have to battle to try to get some of those World Cup points. He's just 2 seconds out of the World Cup points with Brandt from Sweden, 152.4. Hakkinen at 154.8, so 2.4 seconds out of the points is Hakkinen.
Just looking back at the sprint races from last season, and there was at least one Norwegian on the podium for every sprint race last season, and more often than not, only on 2 occasions, 3 occasions even, there was at least 2.
Yeah, that's right. This is a bit of an anomaly in that respect. The top Norwegian today at the end of the day is in 5th. Even though they go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it's still a bit of a flip of the table on the leaderboard today. It's France, Sweden, Germany, and the United States, your top 4. Hakkinen trying to fight for that point. Just a few seconds from finishing. It's going to be tight for this 40th spot.
It's going to be really tight. And he's just inside it for now.
He knew what we were looking at. He saw the point. He knew where the points were.
The crowd knew as well.
Yeah, they knew. Good for him. Previous best 78th. So from 78th to 40th, that's worth celebrating.
Absolutely. The home fans packing the stands today on Finnish Independence Day. Bauer.
Point up.
menemässä Heikkisestä, joten onnittelut matkat pisteestä Heikkiselle. Tänään yksi ohilaukaus tuli, mutta erinomainen suoritus.
Just 5 athletes left to finish now. And we have 3 Finns within the top 40.
Yeah, good day for Heikkinen. His 5th World Cup start only today, and 20 years of age to get top 40. That's a nice race for him.
Moldovan Usov siellä 90.
So Invinius, the highest place of those, still managed to hold on to 32nd, missing once. Himself only 23 years old.
Just 3 more competitors left to come to the finish line, and then this will become official. The final results. Excuse me, 4. Forgot about Edgar Mise. He's still fighting for a top 60 finish.
Yeah, after a couple of days of missing some starters, we do have a full complement of starting athletes for 106. Edgar Mise, the final athlete to get started. 2 minutes 29 down at the last checkpoint, that halfway up the wall, 9.4 kilometers.
Se oli siellä 61 tuolla viimeisen ammunnan jälkeisessä väliaikapisteessä, joten ei uhkaa sitten Heikkisen pisteitä. Sitten pitäisi 20 mennä ohitse, mutta ei mene kukaan ohi. Se tulee tässä maaliin ja menee sijalle.
So when we talk about points as well, Chad, worth noting, Stronsheim, who was wearing the yellow bib, 61st, he's finished, so we will have a new points leader.
Paketoidaan sitten tämä päivä lopullisesti kaikki kilpailijat
once the results become official, you should see those points adjust. Within a few minutes or so, we'd expect to see those points updated. But right now, Stronsheim, clearly the biggest loser amongst the top leaders today, as far as finishing outside the points. He just looked flat. I'm not sure. Sometimes when you have a big win like that, it is tough to come back.
Well, here we go. The unofficial results. Jacquelin with his first IBU World Cup win in a sprint event, shooting clean and finishing 18.9 seconds ahead of Sebastian Samuelsson. Philip Navrath taking the 3rd place, and Campbell Wright, another flower ceremony. So close to a podium, but not to be today for the American. He finishes in 4th, Johannes Tingersbo 5th, Sjostad Christiansen 6th, and then Talia Bow 7th.
World Cup overall standings have been updated. Johannes Tingersbo now the yellow bib leader with 125 points. Emilien Jacquelin moving up 12 spots to be in 2nd spot, 117 his total points total, and still the home Lagrade stays in 3rd with 99 points. The big movers today, Philip Navrath moved up 17 positions to move into 5th overall. Sebastian Samuelsson from 32nd to 7th, and Campbell Wright from 18th to 10th in the overall standings. The big movers today.
Yeah, huge performance from Campbell Wright. So close to that first career podium. Instead, it's a 2nd flower ceremony. And as you said, Chad, that hunger will be well lit within the young American stomach.
I don't think Campbell will begrudge me as a coach thinking it's not the worst thing in the world to keep him hungry. young athlete, still a big career ahead of him, and this just proves that he's on the track, 22 years of age, and gets his his second flower ceremony and nearly on the podium. It's a great day for him, but and I have to say it's good for the sport to have four nations atop the leaderboard. Not Norway, but Norway still doing what they do best, going 4th through 9th with JT Bø, Christensen, Tarjei Bø, Sørum, and Lagride. And Antonin Guigana, the veteran of the French team, rounding out the top 10. Great day for him.
Yep, and the Norwegians all finishing within 10 seconds of each other, from Johannes Tingesbø down to Lagride.
I believe right in 4th place, you will not take over that U23, but I think Vitaly Manzin will hang on to that bib in 6th position. You see it on the graphic there.
Yeah.
Moving into 2nd spot, though.
Yep, yeah, confirmation there, as Chad said. Vitaly Manzin, a good day for him as well. 14th, shooting clean again. Just ahead of teammate Dachenko. It's been a really good start to the campaign for the Ukrainian athletes. Performed well in all the relays and in the individual events as well. Particularly when we take a look at what Vitaly Manzin has achieved this weekend.
Seeing the montage of the World Cup overall leader now. Get back into the yellow bib. He lost it for a day. It's a rare day when Johannes Tingesbø is not in yellow, but he steals it back from his teammate today.
Yep, just one race without the yellow bib on. But for the mass start on Sunday, it will be Johannes Tingesbø back in the yellow bib.
So Navrat with his 4th career podium today. 2nd time in 3rd. That's 1 victory and 1 second place to his credit. All of them came last season, so Philip Navrat really coming on in the last season. 31 years of age. It took him a long time to get here, but now that he's here, he's making his presence known at the top of the world.
Yeah, plenty of space to move into for the Germans with the retirement, of course, of Emilien. A brilliant recovery for Sebastian Samuelsson.
It's a nice round 20 career podium finishes for him today.
And the first time atop the podium in a sprint competition here on the IBU World Cup for Emilien Jacquelin. Finishing with a 18.9 second advantage over Sebastian Samuelsson. Samuelsson, though, with that one miss and an extra 150 metres travelled. Jacquelin shooting clean, and once again, as we've seen over the course of,
Emilien, a fantastic sprint. First sprint victory for you. Perfect day. How do you describe this victory?
The fact is I have some podiums on sprint, but never with clean shooting. Just once, maybe here in Kontiolahti with Johannes Bø and Martin Fourcade, so it was a long time ago. And it was, I just wanted to make the best race as I can with my capacities. So I'm really happy to have made it all in once on the skis, on the shooting range, the pace and the clean shooting. So yeah, it's good to be able to win directly at the start of the season, and I think it's just the start for the team.
We've seen a sleep celebration a few days ago. Today another NBA reference. What's next?
I don't know if it was another NBA reference, but there is so much people who talked about myself, so it was just, I will not say hard trash talk, but keep going, continue to talk. I don't care, I will do my stuff.
Well, looking forward for more then.
Yeah, see you.
One of the masters of the 4 shooting competitions in big competitions is Emilien Jacquelin. He's also becoming a master at the Celly, the celebration as we call it in America, the Celly. But celebrating again his win today, I have to say, it's been really nice to see Emilien Jacquelin show up this early in the World Cup season and really put forth a truly complete biathlon performance, especially in an event that he's never won before. We've known him as a pursuit competitor, a master competitor. Now he can put that feather in his cap as a sprint winner.
Yeah, brilliant interview there from Jacquelin, who will wear the red bib, of course, as well, going into the next sprint event. Brilliant to see the stands absolutely packed out today, as I'm sure they will be over the weekend as well. Back tomorrow for the women's sprint, 7.5 kilometres. Making sure everyone's supported there. Of course, the biggest flag for Finland.
We miss
It's
Campbell.
our top 6 gathering. You can see that, waiting for Campbell. Says Johannes Tingers.
Johannes Tingers still getting a full experience of being on the U.S. team. Waiting for Campbell.
Yeah, it was Johannes Tingers that started just ahead of, or just behind even, Campbell Wright's roommate, Maxime Germain. Jacquelin leading the way. Sebastian Samuelsson, those two deep in conversation. Well, certainly the biggest crowd that we've had here in Kontiolahti over the course of the week so far. Many taking advantage of the public holiday and a long weekend of biathlon in store. Philip Navrath up onto the bottom of the podium. A brilliant third place for him today, shooting clean, 25.1 seconds behind our eventual winner, Jacquelin. Another third place. Finished third in Lenzerheide in the sprint last season. Sebastian Samuelsson, well, another podium for him this week. And recovering incredibly well from a tough day in the range in the short individual. His third podium here in Kontiolahti. Huge Swedish contingent in the crowd, as there are travelling French as well. And the Frenchman will stand atop the podium, Emilien Jacquelin. The first time he tops the podium in a sprint event at the BMW IBU World Cup. Will we get another rendition of the French national anthem? The second time atop the podium, after, of course, doing so with the men in the relay. So there is your podium, the top 3 here in the men's sprint in Kontiolahti. Another third, Sebastian Samuelsson second, Emilien Jacquelin taking top spot, and well, Campbell Wright, what a performance, so close to the podium, and he really pushed those 3 all the way. Laying down the early pace, the early marker. His second flower ceremony. Johannes Tingersburg 5th. Sjostad Christensen taking 6th. Kaliabo just outside of the top 6. An incredible diversity in terms of nations on the podium. A shorter version that time of the French national anthem, but sung with a huge amount of pride once again by those travelling over. We'll have, of course, a change of the yellow bib. Johannes Tingersburg will be presented with that shortly. And there we go, just out of shot. He has pulled on the yellow bib. So he will start the mass start in yellow. One day without it. Prize of Allez le Bleu, a brilliant day for the French. And Jacquelin surrounded by his team.